He says, you mentioned that after the collapse, selection might be for something other than intelligence, such as what?
Well, this is a good question. For example, could it be that being more aggressive and more impulsive could be something that is strongly favoured under a hypothetical future regime of selection?
Well, for a period. Presumably it would, wouldn't it?
This is the thing. A lot of people talk about intelligence as if it were a foregone conclusion. Let me get into a bit of deep lore with evolution. Back in the 1900s, phylogenists, so people who studied phylogenetic processes, started running around asserting that there were all these laws operating in evolution. So, there's this thing called Dollo's law. And Dollo's law is the idea that a species, once it's acquired a particular trait and then loses that trait, that once it's lost the trait is gone forever. And at no point in that species' history will it ever reacquire the trait. Well, it turns out that's not true. So, examples of like the stick insects of a Phasmidae, in order of insects, where they've actually lost and recovered the ability to fly 4 times in the course of their phylogeny. Another one is Cope's law. This is the idea that things start off very simple, like as unicellular living things in the Precambrian period, and then they end up evolving towards complexity. So, this faith that we have that once we've lost intelligence, it will necessarily come back again. It might do. But then again, it might not. It might be that we continue evolving towards greater social and neurocognitive complexity. Or it might be that the opposite trend starts to become favoured. That we actually de-specialise and become more civil and start moving away from this complexity. There are several instances of taxa, which are known from traces in the Cambrian fossil fauna and flora, where they seem to have devolved from a state of being multicellular to being highly unicellular, which is a complete reversal of Cope's law. So, the question I have is we don't know if we're going to reacquire lost intelligence once it's lost, but there's no reason why we can't given the existence of the right selective pressures. But it's not a guarantee that we can take to the bank. There's no law in evolution that says we will reacquire the lost characteristic once it's been lost in the course of phylogeny.